Hi, I'm Jonna White. I'm a volunteer cat socializer here at the Monmouth County SPCA. And like all pet parents and kids, I like to spend time giving love to the cats, helping them to learn how to play gently and to respond to affection, petting, brushing, being held, sitting in the lap, and helping them to get ready to find their forever home. Throughout this video, you're going to meet some people and some kids like me who enjoy showing love and compassion for their animal friends, each in their own way. To me, to these animals, these people are superhumans. And I think you too could be a superhuman. But we can always learn more about how to treat and care for our animal friends. So watch, enjoy, and pay attention, because I'll be back later to find out what you've learned. For now, I'm going to go play with the cats.
Hi, I'm Willow. I'm 10 years old. This is Schmeagle, and then his brother Schmoidle, and then I have Huckleberry and Luna. Schmeagle, him and his brother, we were fostering them for the SPCA, and we had been fostering for a little bit, and Schmoidle is blind, his brother, and so we were decided to keep him, Schmoidle, because we felt bad for him. So then we decided to keep his brother too, so that they wouldn't be separated. So that's how I got Schmeagle and Schmoidle. I try to give them both the same amount of love, but Schmeagle is my favorite. Schmeagle's mine. So Schmeagle and me like to play together. That's why. Schmeagle, he'll jump in the sink or in the bathtub, and sometimes when I'm trying to wash my hands in the sink, he'll be in there. So it's funny because I'm like, I have to move him out of the way, then turn on the water so it doesn't just like plunge all over him. Earlier, I was giving Schmeagle his medicine. He used to put this ointment on his eye because unfortunately he has pink eye in his one eye. Then I also have to give him this liquid in his food, where you have to mix it in his food, and luckily it doesn't taste gross. It tastes like fish oil, so he doesn't taste it. I think animals would thank us for taking care of them and giving them a home and loving them. Empathy is when you feel bad for somebody, and you feel bad because you have either had the experience or can imagine what they're feeling. I feel bad for homeless cats because if I put myself in their shoes, it's just they like live off on the streets, and they don't have anything soft to lay on at night, and they eat garbage and they get sick. And sometimes they get really sick and they just don't have anybody to take care of them, so they just have to live off whatever they can find.
Do you think animals have feelings?
Yes, I do. Since Schmoidle's blind, when he gets scared, if you walk into the room, Schmeagle will run in and almost kind of protect him, like comfort him, like say like, it's okay, you don't need to be nervous, I'm right here. And I think that's really crazy that he does that, and I think that proves that animals do have feelings right there. I think he definitely loves his brother. They love each other. They lay next to each other. They wrestle. They are always together, and they can't be separated.
Hi, I'm Nina. I'm the Assistant Adoption Manager at the Monmouth County SPCA. Whenever a cat comes in, we assess them behaviorally, see how we can best find them a home. We spend a lot of time with people finding them the right cat or dog and trying to find the best match for them. If you want to get a pet, you should definitely come to the SPCA. And we work with you to find the right animal, whether it's a cat, a dog, a guinea pig, a rabbit. We spend a lot of time with all our adopters to find the perfect match. There are some places, like the Monmouth County SPCA has an adoption center at the Freehold Mall now, where the old puppy store used to be, and those are all rescued puppies from other shelters. So that would be a puppy store to support because they're all rescued. So you're saving a life when you get a puppy from there. It's really important to spay or neuter both your cats and dogs because a stray cat, for instance, can produce a lot of kittens each year. It basically just results in a lot of unwanted animals roaming the streets. I've always loved animals. I've always had a lot of pets. I love having a job where I can take my work home with me. I always take foster kittens home or foster dogs, foster cats, and it's just really nice to spend all of your time doing something you love. Saving a life is a really good feeling, and we do that every day here. So it's a great job to have. Animals definitely have feelings. There's been research done, and we've seen it here at the shelter, where a cat will come in or a dog whose owner has passed away, and they're very depressed. They won't eat. They really don't even respond to touch or human contact because they're so depressed. Also, everybody knows when if you go to pick up your dog from the vet, or you've been on a vacation, your dog hasn't seen you, or your cat, they're very excited to see you. Cats and dogs are very affected by their people coming and going, or even losing a friend. If there are two cats that have been together and one of them passes away, the other cat can be very affected. Same thing with dogs.
I am Adrianna, I'm 11 years old, and I have 2 dogs, 3 cats, and 1 guinea pig. Here are some treats for her. Junebug is my guinea pig, and we got her 2 years ago, and she loves to be pet right on the bridge of her nose, and she loves treats. When she hears the crinkle of the bag, she comes running up to her door, and she likes to stand on top of her pink igloo. Baby cat, we had her as a foster, and we loved her so much we wanted to keep her, and that's the same thing as Ginny cat. And Ginny, she was the first cat we fostered, and she came alone, and we felt so bad for her because we only took her, not her sister, so we wanted her to stay in our house so we could care for her and so she could have another family. I love animals because whenever you feel upset or you have nothing to do, or even if you have something to do, I always go and I find my animals, and we like to play and stuff together. When I'm petting my cats and playing fetch with my dog, it takes my mind off of things because they always do playful, funny things, and it makes me laugh, and it makes it turns my day around. Kindness is caring for your pets and treating them like one of us. I know a lot of people, they just say oh, pets don't have feelings, they can't understand you or stuff like that. But I think the opposite. I think that they have feelings just like we do. When I grow up, I think that I'm going to just get pets even if I didn't have any children. I'm an animal lover. I love all animals, and I'm gonna have a zoo when I grow up.
Hi, I'm Harrison, and I'm 17 years old. I have one Maltese dog, Luke, who I love very much, and then I have 2 cats. One is very old. His name is Buddy. He's 18 or 19, and we actually rescued him, just found him on the side of the road. Actually, he was walking out of a forest, and we literally rescued him. And then another cat named Julie, who's much younger, we rescued from the SPCA. I love all of my animals. I feed them daily. I walk Luke twice a day, and they're all great, well-behaved animals, and I'm really lucky to have them. I think it's just, you see that animals are helpless, so to say. They really rely on other people for safety. They can't defend themselves. Obviously, they can't speak and say what their problem is. So I felt that I had almost an obligation to help animals, and also I just love animals. For their pure, genuine, they're such good creatures by nature, and they're never really out to harm anyone or do anything bad. They never have ulterior motives. They're pure in their emotions. I absolutely believe that animals have feelings. I do think it's a good question in the sense that people don't realize that animals can't speak. They can't always show that they're hurting or that they need help. So animals definitely do have feelings. They definitely have emotions, many emotions, and they can be upset. They can, be depressed. It's important to keep your animals happy and to try to provide happiness for as many animals in your life as you can. Well, compassion can just be as simple as showing any animal that you love them, that you care for them in any way, whether it's just feeding them, whether it's just smiling at them or giving them the attention that they deserve. But compassion is just love and, understanding and being there for whoever needs you. Saw came to fruition at the end of my sophomore year. Like I said, my whole life I felt this connection to animals. I just saw them and I always felt that there was something that needed to be done in every spectrum of animal care. But Saw came to fruition at the end of my sophomore year. I was lying in bed late one night and I was really struggling with the concept of I'm only in high school. I was 15 years old at the time. How in the world can I help animals? I didn't feel like I was doing enough. I really just felt like I needed to do more. So I formed a club with two very good friends. The three of us formed it together going into my junior year of high school. We named it Students for Animal Welfare, and since then we've done a lot of good for many animals. You're never too young to help out. You're never going to be at a disadvantage, and there's always room in the world to do more for animals, and trust me, they need it, whatever animal it may be. But whether it's starting your own club or starting your own SAW club in your town or school, or just donating some time in some way, there's always something to be done for the bettering of animals, even if it's as simple as loving your own pets. So that's about it.
This is a groundhog that was hit by a car. He's also being rehabilitated. You can see I've got his fruit in there. I don't like the flies, but you can't help it with the fruit in there. He's resting right now. His whole face was smashed in and he was bleeding, his nose was bleeding, but he's doing very, very well. Hi, my name's Melissa Jacobs, and I'm a volunteer wildlife rehabilitator in New Jersey. In my spare time, I have decided for the last 20 years to donate my time and my property and my funding to rehabilitating and saving injured and orphaned wildlife. I always loved animals since I was a little kid. All my friends loved animals. It was a really cool thing to do, is to help an animal. And when I got older, I looked at all the different aspects of saving animals, all the different ways I could help with the animal kingdom. And I realized there wasn't a lot of people helping the wild animals because everybody's afraid of them. And so I realized there was a need for those types of people. So I got involved with that. I used to help dogs and cats, and I still do, but because there was not enough people to help the wild animals, I decided to work on that, and I learned how to do that. Very slowly, a little bit of formula. This is a special formula that we use just for squirrels. It's made by Fox Valley, and although you can use kitten and puppy formula, but this is the formula I use for squirrels. You cannot give them milk. Cow's milk will actually make a baby animal very sick, so never ever give a baby animal milk. Now, she's not eating right now. If somebody comes across an injured or baby wildlife, or an animal that's been hit by a car or injured, or if a tree blows down and the babies are in the tree, or if somebody traps the mother animal and takes it away and leaves the little babies behind, like squirrels and raccoons, people call me. I get calls from veterinarians, I get calls from animal shelters, I get calls from police stations, I get calls from people who really love the animals and want to see that the animal gets the proper care that it needs to go back out into the wild. And so I've been trained to take these animals in and work with veterinarians, very closely with veterinarians, to help them so that they can be healthy and go back into the woods in the wild. and live their lives. And I'll introduce the different foods to her when she gets older. It's hard work, and to do it right, you have to be trained, and you have to know their nature. You have to know what each species, which each animal requires: food, shelter, special care. And if you have an injured animal, you usually have to work. I work with a lot of veterinarians. They're the only ones that really help me with the medical aspect of these animals, and 90% of the time it's a medical issue. So the best thing for you to do if you ever come across an animal that was hit by a car, or a baby animal that's in distress and doesn't have the mother around to take care of it and protect it, is to get to an adult that you know will help you. And you can always find someone at a shelter, or an animal control officer, or a veterinarian. They're the best. They always help you. But go to an adult right away, and call a wildlife rehabilitator right away, and they'll help you. But you can't go out and just pick up a wild animal and turn it into a pet. They're wild, and they can, as they get older, they need to be free. And it's not that they would, it's not good for them, and it's not good for you. It's the coolest feeling in the world to take a little baby helpless animal in and raise it and then let it go free. There's nothing cooler than that. I mean, I work in a hospital, and I save people all day long, and I help people with broken bones. But when you do it with a baby animal or an injured animal, and you give that animal the care it deserves, and nature doesn't take care of these animals. People will say, let nature take its course. Nature doesn't repair injuries. You have to intervene and help these animals because they suffer. So when you do that to a hurt animal that can't speak for itself and can't help itself, it's very rewarding. Very cool thing to do. Always you have to think about your safety first, but if you can help an animal, whether it's domestic or wild, you should do it. It's a very good thing to do. It's the right thing to do.
Hi, I'm Taya Anderson, and I'm a licensed wildlife rehabber in New Jersey. I'm also a mother. I specialize in squirrels, chipmunks, possums, and especially rabbits. I sort of found my niche doing cottontail rabbits. This guy's about 2 weeks old. I got him in last night. He was rescued by some kids that I think really wanted to keep them as pets. And although it's always tempting with wild animals to keep them as pets, especially cute little baby rabbits, in captivity they really don't do well. They can be very stressed out if you have dogs, people's voices, and there are many ways that you have to take care of them that is not the same as with a domestic bunny. Wild animals are just not supposed to be pets. They're not. And there's reasons why. There are other great pets that you can have. You can rescue dogs and you can rescue cats and give them a second chance. But wild rabbits are not pets at all. And I don't know of anybody that's actually ever been able to have a wild rabbit as a pet. I grew up on a farm in Vermont where I did have a lot of pet rabbits, but they weren't wild. They were domestic rabbits. We had goats and chickens, and I was just always exposed to animals. And I actually had read a book called Rascal and it was about a kid that had a pet raccoon, and I thought that was just the greatest possible thing. And I was riding horseback with my father one day, and we saw a mother raccoon leaving a tree and realized that there were probably babies there. So I begged my father to get me a baby raccoon like Rascal. So he climbed up on the back of his horse and reached in and pulled out, sure enough, the cutest little baby raccoon you ever saw. And we went home, and the whole way I'm so excited. I'm going to name him Rascal, and he's my baby pet raccoon. And we got him home and tried to feed him goat's milk because we had goats, and he didn't even make it through the night. And I felt terrible because I realized that, here I had, my intentions were really good. I wanted a pet raccoon. I wanted to take care of him, but it was the totally wrong thing to do. And years later, I moved to New Jersey, and I read an article in the paper about being a wildlife rehabber. I made some phone calls, ended up calling the SPCA, and they put me in touch with Melissa, who you also are hearing about today. And she took me under her wing. I tried a bunch of different species. I tried squirrels, which I like too, but I found that wild rabbits, cottontail rabbits, were really what I was best at, because having been just used to rabbits. And I have a pretty good success rate. In captivity, they only live about 50% of them away from their moms, but I have about an 80-85% record, so I'm really happy with that. Animals don't have a voice, and you have to be the voice. You have to be the voice for animals, because if you don't, who will? They can't say, no, don't, this is my house, don't build your house here. They can't voice that, they can't say that. And so people have to do that for them. People have to be the voice for animals.
Hello again. I hope you enjoyed meeting some of these superhumans, and I hope you learned a lot from them too. Taya's right. We need to be the voice for animals. Do you remember what Willow said about empathy?
Empathy is when you feel bad for somebody, and you feel bad because you have either had the experience or can imagine what they're feeling.
It's not a word that may be familiar to you, but it's a feeling that I'll bet you have for others and animals. Nina talked about how animals show their feelings. Remember what she said about certain animals in the shelter?
Animals definitely have feelings, and we've seen it here at the shelter.
How about kindness? Adrianna talked about it. I like what she said.
Kindness is caring for your pets and treating them like one of us.
Treating someone or something like they are one of us is about the best definition I've ever heard of kindness. Treating someone or something the way we want to be treated makes certain that we are kind. We all want to be treated with kindness. Now, how about compassion? Harrison put it this way.
Well, compassion can just be as simple as showing any animal that you love them, that you care for them in any way, whether it's just feeding them, whether it's just smiling at them or giving them the attention that they deserve. But compassion is just love and, understanding and being there for whoever needs you.
Compassion is an emotion that shows we care. We feel sorry or sad for others, and we want to make them feel better. I'm sure you've had moments in your life when you felt compassion for a sick friend or a hurt animal. That's another sign that you're a superhuman too. Other ways of showing you care are taking care of your pets. I was really impressed to see so many in this video doing just that. Whether it was feeding or grooming or giving their pets medicine or love. The folks in this video have shown a great lesson in caring for their pets. Do you help out at home with your family's pets? I hope so. And if you don't have a pet and would like to get one or know someone who does, where would you suggest they look first? Remember what Nina said.
If you want to get a pet, you should definitely come to the SPCA, and we work with you to find the right animal, whether it's a cat, a dog, a guinea pig, a rabbit. We spend a lot of time with all our adopters to find the perfect match.
There are so many animals to choose from. So let's always make an effort to choose a shelter and to help our animal friends by suggesting it to others. That's one of the ways we can indirectly help animals, even the ones that aren't ours. And speaking of animals that aren't ours, I was so pleased to see how Melissa and Taya are taking care of wildlife. But there are some guidelines to what we should do. I'll bet you recall what Melissa and Taya said, but let's listen again, because this is important.
The best thing for you to do if you ever come across an animal that was hit by a car or a baby animal that's in distress and doesn't have the mother around to take care of it and protect it is to get to an adult.
Wild animals are just not supposed to be pets. They're not. And there's reasons why, there are other great pets that you can have. You can rescue dogs and you can rescue cats and give them a second chance. But wild rabbits are not pets at all. And I don't know of anybody that's actually ever been able to have a wild rabbit as a pet.
That's great advice, and I'm sure many of you already knew that. But it's always worth hearing again. So it's part of what you can now do to truly be a superhuman. Speak up for animals and tell your family, your friends, and the world how they need and deserve to be treated. Be a voice. The voice for the animals.